welcome once again to Inside Athletics, brought to you by the IAAF. I'm your host, Ato Boldon, and I am in Kingston, Jamaica at the 2013 Boys and Girls High School Championships. If you say champs, it makes you sound like you've been there before. 30,000 people behind me, one of the most amazing meets you can ever go to. If you're a track and field fan, put this meet on your schedule at some point. It is absolutely amazing, and this year's has been one of the best. But I'm really in Kingston to talk to one of Jamaica's most famous daughters of the soil. In 2012, she became only the third woman ever to defend her Olympic 100-meter crown. Here's part one of our interview with Shelly-Ann Fraser.Pryce.
First of all, I want to say Team Capricorn. I didn't realize that you were the end of December.
Yes,
like me.
I am.
I'm 3 days after you. So I want to ask you. So you're 26, married to a loving husband. You have money. You have medals. What continues to be your motivation?
Well, I'm highly motivated for a lot of reasons. You know, I believe as an athlete or as a female athlete from the Caribbean, I don't get the respect that I deserve. Yeah, I definitely feel that, and I believe that there is so much more I can achieve as an athlete and as a person, you know, and giving back to the sport as well, because I want to do so much in Jamaica for athletes here, you know, to get the recognition that they need worldwide, you know, not just here in Jamaica, because, you know, having a talent and going on the field and expressing it, and, you know, person see and they, oh well, it's just that, you know, and I believe that there's so much more I can do on the track, and I'm yet to grasp the concept of so many things in track and field. A lot of persons will say I'm not a student of the sport, which is true. I'm not. I can't tell you a lot about the sport, but I'm a hard worker.
So you're a student of the sport, though, enough to know that when you crossed the line in London, there are only 2 other women in history that have done that. You're a student of the sport enough to know that?
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No, I only knew about Gail Divas, but I didn't know about anybody else.
Right, Wyoming tires way back when.
Yeah, I didn't know. I knew about Gail Divas, but I knew nothing about anybody else. And to be honest, when I was getting ready to compete throughout, you know, London and the whole season, I wasn't really thinking about, oh, I needed to retain this title to become the third female to have, you know, repeated. You know, for me, it was just something that I wanted it. You know, I worked hard for it, and 2011 was a year that was down for me, and this is my triumph. You know, this is the time that I'm going to rise. You know, all the disappointments, everything, this is what I'm working for.
Now, you talk a lot about how much you hate the 200. Of course, as a former world champion of 200, I'm a little offended, but I understand, because, you know, at your height, there's not a lot of women who are really good at that event at your height. But now, you know, you're knocking on the door of 22 flat. You're the Olympic silver medalist. Allyson Felix is not going to run forever. Do you look in the distance now and say, you know what, maybe Olympic champion in the 200? I already have 200-meter goals. Surprisingly enough, I said a couple days or a month ago, I said that I believe in the future that I'll be a better 200 runner than I will be a 100 runner, because I'm so getting used to this 200, you know, and the Olympics was such an experience, because I said after I won the 100, it was so difficult for me to get myself back into that frame of mind that I had. Doublers now.
Yeah. You know, so it was very difficult for me to just get myself back into that frame of mind that I had. And I said it to my coach, like, before I started the heat, I was like, I felt so drained, you know. I felt like I've completed my task and I haven't. You know, how do I get myself back there? So it's still a learning process for me, and it's still something that I'm loving, you know. Even though when I step out line, I can't believe I'm running a 200. Like, if you knew me in high school, 100 was it. I hated the 200, but now I'm getting used to it and I'm loving it more, and I believe I can do so much more with the 200.
Now, you got your personal best all the way down to 10.70, and you know, you're still relatively young in the sport. Do you look at the world record that's now 25 years old and say, you know what, maybe with the right wind, altitude, in a couple years? Or is it something that, you know, like, I mean, I've heard Veronica Campbell-Brown say, nah, not a possibility, I don't even think about it.
Well, I really don't think about the world record, to be honest. I do think about my personal best as an athlete, you know, where I want to see myself in the year. And I believe it's a stage, because I said to coach that
I want to run 10.5. I believe I can run 10.5, or I know I can run 10.5, you know. And he said, for me, everything has to be timed, because I want to run really fast in 2016, and I want to be in Rio for 2016, because my ultimate goal is to become the first woman to have won 3. And I think as the year progresses, you know, it's working to fine-tune everything to get it right, because when I watch my races, I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I run so bad and I still win. You know,
Which race did you run badly in and still win?
In London.
London, you fell apart a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
What part of the race did you feel like, oh my gosh, look at what I did and I still got away with it?
Yeah, this was like to the end, because when I came out, if I had, you know, stayed upright and continued to swing and move, I would have been gone.
Yes.
But of course, you know, as I say, I'm still young to the sport, I believe, and I'm still, you know, learning a lot. You know, I'm still, like, this year, majority of my training has been mental. You know, it's more mental than it is physical. I do train really hard. I'm a hard worker. I mean, I'm one of those persons that's self-driven. You know, it takes nothing for me. It's laying down in my bed and I'm sleeping, and I open my eyes and I say, oh, I'm not going to training this morning, and I can't.
Right.
I literally go, no, but Sharon is at training, Veronica is at training, and I'm getting up. So I'm easily motivated, you know, and I hate to lose. I really do. I don't like to lose.
In your interview with for NBC for the Olympics, I thought one of the most powerful stories that you told was about, you know, the area that you grew up, Waterhouse, and that's obviously a rough area. But you talked about your mother intervening because you were growing up in an area where at a certain age the young women were almost expected, you know, to sort of take up with some of the older gentlemen.
Yeah.
Talk about your mother's influence on you and where you are now.
Well, my mother was really strict. She was like strict, and you know, the fact that she didn't get the chance to graduate from high school because she got pregnant, you know, and she didn't have any education as far as it concerned, so she didn't relate well to situations that was going on. So she wouldn't be sitting down at a table and say, oh, Shelly-Ann, what's going on?
Right.
Do you want to talk about something? No, that's not her. You know, she dealt with it different. She was like, if you ever, you know, and I understood, because, you know, I went to a prominent school here in Jamaica, so, you know, I had education. I understood where she was coming from. She didn't want me to be in the same situation that she was. You know, she didn't want to get pregnant, and her mother was saying, oh, don't go back and be careful, and she went and got pregnant with me, and then she went and got pregnant with my younger brother. So it was a cycle that she didn't want to continue, and she wanted me so bad. When I went to Woolmer, she was so excited that she told everybody on the street that I was going to Woolmer's, and you know, I understood that about her. I saw how hard she worked, and I couldn't like stand on the road and talk to anybody. Like, I would be standing and talking to a boy, and she'd immediately come there and she'd look at me and say, go inside. No. So she didn't know how to deal with us, you know, or me as a young, you know, female. She didn't know that, but you know, at the same time, I knew that in her head she wanted so much to protect me from what was out there, but it wasn't coming across the way she wanted it. But I understood, so I made sure that, you know, in my head, in the back of my head, I wanted to make her proud. I wanted to make her feel happy for all the times that she got up at 4 a.m. in the morning to go and sell on the street, and coming in at 9 and 10 and all of that. So, you know, she provided the motivation and the strength that I needed.
Thanks to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce for joining us. Don't miss next week, because we'll have part 2 of this interview here on Inside Athletics.